Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown and
Lyle Blanchard, VP of Marketing, RedboxPlus.
Patrick Kiessling, Brand President here at RedboxPlus.
And we're talking about how to have your employees get better etiquette on job sites. Obviously, RedboxPlus is a roll-off company and they're able to help you do that with their product. But what are the other things that we're thinking about as far as etiquette? What do you guys think are the most important things for contractors on job sites to tell their crews?
Okay, so we're looking at three things on a job site from a high-level, big-picture perspective. So we're looking at open communications with the customers, so making sure that we're managing their expectations correctly. Next one is we're going to do what we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do it. And then finally, on every job site, we're looking at it from the perspective of if this was my house or my job or my project, how would I want it to be treated?
That's good. And a lot of the detailed things that I was talking to one of our contractors before this podcast, I was talking about this, and a lot of it falls into that number 3, right? No loud music, just brash music, right? Like, and I have no problem with some music on a job site. Like, I've been up on a roof doing it. It's fun to listen to a little country, that kind of shit. But at the same time, you got to kind of engage the audience with that homeowner, and that's one of those things. The number one thing is probably the time when you say you're gonna be there. You know, that whole idea of they don't get a surprise. You know, you don't come at 11 a.m. when you said you're gonna come at 9. That type of thing.
Yeah, and we also think it's big on that customer care standard to be focused on the customer's customer. So you know, in our case, for example, doing what we do. The contractor is our customer, but so is that project site. So whether it's a remodeling or a roofing job or a siding windows job, we encourage our guys to make sure that, you know, all of our locally owned, locally operated operators have to remember that it's not just the contractor you're serving. You need to serve that customer's customer and make sure you're treating them right. And that communication piece is critical. In fact, just a little thing we always encourage is whether it's SMS, you know, whether it's texting, whether it's email, or if it's in person, however you want to do it, but just in our case, let them know when you're arriving the next day. If you let them know when you're arriving, and as Patrick said, by setting the expectations, it's also good to let them know what your work day is like. Because if you're sweeping up at 3:30 and they think, oh my gosh, there's still 5 hours of daylight, what are these guys doing? But if you've already set the expectation that we wrap up by 4, and we always clean up before we head out so you don't have to look at any additional mess, that's the kind of communication we're at.
So wrapping up at the end of the day with the cleanup, just in the day, not at the end of the project, but at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then also, what about, should you take breaks on the work site? Like as far as like sitting around eating lunch and stuff like that, is that common? I don't know how you guys feel about that. I literally don't know the answer to this, so it's all good.
I mean, from my perspective, I would say it comes back to clear communication with the property owner or whoever's on the job site. So for me, or from my perspective, I would say that if that's discussed, if that's the way that it is, great. And that comes back to clear, concise communication with your customers at all times.
And I think it's totally appropriate, because I think it's one of the things that you have to remember on a job site. And we've all been there, right? If you've ever built a home, you can't help but go there every night to see what they get done. If you pull up midday and everybody's sitting around, or if nobody's there, it's almost worse yet if you pull up and nobody's there and you wonder where'd all the workers go. And we always tell people to drive efficiency at that site. Really keeping the crew at the site is critical, which is one of the things that, you know, for example, with our product, RedboxPlus Elites, the toilets are there. So if you bring your lunch and you want the crew there all day and it's acceptable to the project site person, you can be there all day. You don't have to leave the job site, which ultimately drives efficiency.
Lyle, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I know.
We'll get to that.
I know.
Let's try to pitch. Watch Lyle. Look at him. Look at his face.
What happens?
Look at him. He can't help himself. He's got to pitch.
When you're in the marketing department, that's all you're doing is roll and roll.
I agree. You got to watch us marketers very closely.
Yeah.
You got to watch us. We'll
and you guys know that.
We know that for sure. Yeah. So, okay. What is the level of involvement that the crews, that the workers should be having with the homeowner in a residential job? Like, I think, I don't know, I guess my personal opinion is that in general, you're not trying to be that chummy.
No,
you're trying to make sure that their prized plant is taken care of and tarped, but you're not trying to like sit there and talk about their dog's health problem every day.
Yeah, I don't want to be asked to clean out the fountain or anything, you know. So
it's kind of like a boundary. It's a boundary thing. There's a professional boundary. You don't have to be the best friends with this person to do a really good job for them.
And I think it comes back to that communication and what are the standards for that contractor. And that contractor hopefully is communicating those standards to his crew, whether it's subs or direct employees. But I think you're absolutely right. And that's that, we always say be courteous.
Yeah.
And that's all we're asking.
And sometimes being courteous is taking the lemonade that the old lady's giving you.
Absolutely.
But it's not necessarily like, people will be
don't
nice.
Come inside.
Yeah.
Don't come inside
Yeah.
and hang out.
Don't go inside.
People will be nice to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People feel obligated to do that, but that doesn't mean like keep on pushing that boundary.
Absolutely.
And I think that like that's a good thing to communicate with your crews is understand where that boundary is and be a little bit distant in a certain way so that they feel comfortable.
Yeah,
It's like there's a good thing about being an exterior I'm thinking exterior contractors right now, excuse me. I know it's different with remodelers and stuff like that, but I'm thinking exterior contractors. It's a good part about exterior contracting that you don't have to get so involved. I mean,
Well, and truthfully, going in on a residential project, going in the home, unless it's an in-home project,
yeah,
if you're an exterior, so window siding, roofing,
Yeah.
whatever, going in is uncomfortable.
yeah,
I mean, really. And I get that sometimes grandma's going to invite Patrick in for a lemonade, but we'd still encourage our people, just take it on the porch. We don't,
Yeah.
Because of the world of liability and litigious mindset, the minute you set foot into that home, there's always that potential for other things.
So minimize your
Exposure.
suability.
Exposure.
Exposure to risk. That's good.
Well, and the crew is it's an extension of the brand, right?
Yeah.
So you're branding from the beginning, the first marketing that a customer sees, all the way through to the estimate and the sale, and then the crew as well. So
Yeah.
we're here to get the job done. We're professional. We're courteous. We're going to do it right, and that's our goal. On a job site.
Well, and I think the other thing we hear from our contractor customers that they do is they actually, and many contractors will do this, at the end of that job or on the last day of that job as the crew's wrapping up, someone from that ownership team or executive team shows up if it's residential, just to check in.
Yes.
And it's a great way for them to have that last touch.
Yeah.
Because your last mental image is going to be
Yeah.
your crew guy that flicks a cigarette butt as he's getting in the truck.
Once again, maybe don't smoke on site.
Maybe
Don't
don't
smoke
smoke.
on site. That's one of the rules.
Yeah. Or
Rule number one.
Yeah.
Or is it going to be an ownership representative that stops by just to say, oh, everything got buttoned up? And if that homeowner steps out, what a great opportunity to thank them for their business and then say, oh, by the way, I'll be sending you a follow-up survey with a link
Sure.
for a review.
I just got chills. That's
You
good.
like those reviews?
You gotta get those reviews, and you got to give the last touch, make it feel good
last
to the
mental
homeowner.
image you got.
I love that. All right, so let's talk about, actually, real quick story. I just, one of our contractors saw a flaming truck going down the road. One of your guys' competitors, I won't say which. I mean, I don't know if it's their fault that the thing was on fire. It might have been a cigarette. Who knows? But that's a funny mental image. Once again, minimize the risk. Don't smoke on site. Think about bathrooms. Last summer, I was on a job site. They let me roof a house. Can you imagine that? Oh man,
I can't.
My hands are so soft, so soft. And going to the bathroom. Got to go to the gas station.
Right.
Just to use the bathroom. You don't get to pee outside on a bush anymore. That's a golden rule for you. And
Is that a pun?
yeah, I was trying. I'm working on my dad jokes. One day I will be a father, and I need to work on my dad jokes. So, talk to me about how you guys solve for that with Redbox.
Well, so one of the first calls that contractors, let's say owners, are going to get from a project that they're working on is homeowner comes home, no one's on the job site, nothing's happening. First question is, where is everyone? What are they doing? Is the job getting done? So our products, I don't know if I can go into this yet. I guess I can from a marketing perspective.
Always go into it.
Yeah. So our
Yes, no, I'm invited.
all right, so our roll-off containers have an integrated portable toilet in it. So dumpster, portable toilet attached all in one, so that at all times there's going to be portable toilets on the job site with your roll-off.
I love that idea that it's not just about it's not the 5-10 minutes that they go to the gas station, because it could be as little as 10-20 minutes, right? They go to the gas station. People also chill. They chill more, so you literally get less utilization out of your employees because they go off site and sit there
Well, and I always
do other stuff.
Yeah, I always say
You lose guys,
if you
man.
have 4 4 workers on the site, right? And one of them was
Yeah.
the foreman or one of them was the crew lead.
Yeah.
What happens when he or she heads down to the restroom 10, 20 minutes away?
Ah,
So, and how many breaks are they taking a day? And it's not that they shouldn't be taking those breaks,
Yeah.
but I mean, I've got plenty of anecdotal stories from franchise owners who share with me the first time a crew member comes around and sees a RedboxPlus Elite, the combination portable restroom
Yeah.
and roll-off, and they're like, oh my gosh, is this for us? Can
Yeah.
we use this? They'll
Yeah.
ask. So we talk to our owners about working with the contractor to make sure you're protecting that reputation of that contractor. Because as you mentioned, the days of making a bathroom on the job site, especially with the world of cameras, you know, we all know commercial buildings with cameras is very common, but now residential homes have camera. A lot of them have cameras now. So really, that making of a bathroom on the job site is over. And you know, you kind of referenced it. I get in the pickup truck. You guys are still working. I go down to the local gas station. That's only going to be gone 5 minutes. But I get in there, there's a line, so I wait. While I'm waiting, I pick up a Mountain Dew. I decide to get a new tin of Skol, and I didn't know hot dogs were 2 for $1. I'll grab one. You know, I'm not saying every crew is like that, but you minimize that. And I think
we literally, when I was roofing that house, one of the guys that was roofing it with us literally just dropped off. Like he went to do something like that. I think he was going to the bathroom or something, and literally he never came back. Because people like get off on something else. Well, I gotta go to
and
Home
I think
Depot. Okay.
I think the other thing is if you the days of asking the homeowner for the restroom are over as well.
Yeah.
And I tell people from a reputational standpoint, why have that exposure?
Yeah.
Even if I'm in the restroom at the homeowner's place and anything comes up missing in that bathroom, even if it's their, and I shouldn't say this, but even if it's their 15-year-old son who's taken something out of the medicine cabinet he shouldn't be taking, who's going to get blamed?
That's a really good point. Lastly, branding on the box. You guys allow that?
We do. We have a co-branding program for our preferred partners.
Yeah.
It's
I strongly suggest taking them up on that though. Like to me, all the on-site branding opportunities, everything in person, your yard signs, your truck, branding opportunities on your roll-off trailer, whatever it happens to be, those are, to me, that's the best marketing. Stop effing with your Facebook. Get all the things on job in neighborhood.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so we allow a real nice, good sized magnet on the front of the roll-off container with your brand on it. So if Hook Agency was a preferred partner, we'd go out there and it'd be 2 feet by 3 feet, nice big. You send us your logo, and we actually have an in-house art department. We'll set it up, get the magnet ordered, and
how do you, like, just a few last details for the podcast. We'll talk about this on the live, so go watch the live video if you want more on this. But what are the logistics on all that? First of all, the biggest thing that our contractors ask to ask you guys is about timing and making sure it's consistent and things are there. Like, how do you do that? And then also, how do you make sure that the magnet's on there? That was just a question I had.
take the first half.
Yeah, so the first part of it is number one, all of our owners across the country are locally owned and operated, so they're directly involved in the business. There's not a national call center taking the calls, scheduling stuff all over the country. So our owners, general managers, drivers are directly involved in everything that's happening day to day. Beyond that is we specifically focus on customers, job sites, projects that are quick turning. So we build our businesses around being there on time. Okay, so we're turning containers quickly, and that's what sets us apart in the market. Customer service. So even we've talked about the toilets, the containers, like that's so different. Like we know that's
so you enable your franchisees to deal with processes to make sure
absolutely, and
they're all good.
Yeah, and they're all going through the same training so that we make sure that is standardized across every market across the country. So
it's gonna be a hard job. I just to imagine like running franchisees and making sure it's consistent. I would imagine that's kind of difficult.
Well,
it can be. I mean, but
so I used to be a franchisee. I was one of the first franchisees.
How did they help you stay consistent, and how have they grown over time in that?
Well, so we've grown leaps and bounds. So when I started, Lyle was here with us. I was the first true franchisee, and it was much different back then. It was startup phase. So we've gone through a number of improvements over time, but now it's start to finish. Obviously, we know everything about the business from scheduling, equipment, who do we
marketing,
need,
everything.
Yeah. So really just stepped it out every every process or every step of the way for our franchisees. Again, the idea there is standardization, and we know what works, and really it comes down to what does the contractor want, and really that's what does the contractor's customer want, and that's what we want to do, and that's what we want to train on.
I love that. Little pitch at the end here for people that might consider being a franchisee. What would you say is the reason that they should be a RedboxPlus franchisee?
My answer would be that you're going to get a playbook that comes along with a very unique product in an industry that is starved. If you're customer care oriented, if you're looking for a service industry that doesn't require a lot of people, I mean, you might have to manage 100 roll-off containers, but you're not going to manage 100 people. I mean, so if somebody was looking to understand some of the benefits and upside, I think that's one of the things.
Why didn't you have what about truck drivers and stuff like that? How do you recruit? How do you help them recruit good people and stuff like that? Like, I guess I'm curious.
We have a process in place for that, for HR. We've
Yeah.
got some partners out there in the marketplace that help do that.
Mm.
We are generally not starved to find qualified drivers.
Awesome.
And one of the things that you guys will notice when we take a tour here is that, we have really nice equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've ever driven a truck, driving a truck that's new is very appealing.
Mm-hmm.
So we see a lot of that. And one of the things that's really interesting, and Patrick experienced this when he was a franchisee, was in the landfill dumping your C&D box and somebody approaches you while you're waiting to scale, another driver for another waste hauler who says, "Hey, are you guys hiring? I'd love to work for you. You guys are unique. I love your equipment. Everything looks cool." You know what I mean? And so I think there's some of the benefit in that too. And for a driver who's been pounding the road as a long hauler, you're home every night. You're home every night. Sometimes you're done at 3:30 in the afternoon because if that contractor wraps in the afternoon, you're pulling a box.
See how that would be attractive.
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay, well, you heard it here. RedboxPlus has processes in place, proven processes that work, and they're accepting franchisees all over the country. So hit them up, check them out. Appreciate you guys for joining me.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tim.
absolutely. Thank you.